that you were mine.
Welcome back, guys, to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about storage and how to utilize your contribution points to get the most storage possible. Okay, first I want you guys to know that you would need at least I would say 100 contribution points to get anything steady from all the storages in the major cities. The major cities being that Calpheon, Velia, Heidel, Altanova, and Valencia. Though I haven't even touched Valencia, I'm assuming Valencia has one too. So the major cities usually are everywhere where you have a marketplace, such as this little chibi right here. So what I'm going to show you guys is how to reduce the amount of contribution points you need to put in actual storage. Well, me, I have 200 and something contribution points, so me actually having storage slots isn't that big of a deal. But here's a quick little tip that many players may not know using the horse ranch and stables stable slots to actually increase your storage. Okay, first I'm going to show you guys how to search for the item. The item that people most likely mass produce and sell is called merchant wagons. Okay, well, it's 38 in our auction house as we speak. They're worth about 1.2 to like 1.8, maybe even 2 mil, registration. But each of these wagons holds about 18 slots, and if you consider that number, and you actually look at how much contribution points it takes to actually get 18 slots using these warehouses, you'll see you're saving yourself a lot of points. Like this one house is worth 4 contribution points, and it gives you a total of 8. It doesn't. This is not accumulative, so it gives you 3 at level 1, 5 at level 2, and 8 at level 3. Now, some people might misunderstand this and think this is 3 plus 5, so you got 8 total, plus another 8, so you have 16. That is not how it works. It's just saying the total you get is 8 at this level, and that's from a 4 contribution house. So let's use that math real quick, okay, guys? So let's just assume, let's assume 4 contribution gives you 8 slots on every storage slot you have, okay? 4 contribution, 8 slots. So you get 16 slots for 8 contribution, okay? Now let's let that sink in. 16 slots for 8 contribution. Now, if you invest in a horse ranch, which costs 4 contribution, right? You get 4 stable slots additional to the 3 that you have to begin with. So you have a total of 7 stable slots, okay? So let's just say these 4. Let's just say these 4 stable slots each has a merchant wagon put in there. So 4 merchant wagons you can put into your stable with these 4 stable slots. And each merchant wagon is 18 slots. Okay? So 4 times 18 is 64 slots of space. Okay? So with that being said, you just made 64 slots of space with 4 contribution. Now let's just apply that same logic to other areas. The thing about Black Desert, efficiency really pays off. Okay, I'm not sure if this one has a horse ranch, but let's just check. But efficiency really pays off in Black Desert, and the more efficient you can be, the higher income you can get for the resources that you do have. So okay, they do have a horse ranch, 2 slots. Okay, this costs 3 contribution points, and oh, you can actually buy it directly, can you? Hold on, let me check that. Yeah, it doesn't cost any prior contribution points to get to this house on top of that. So it costs 3 contribution points, 2 slots. 2 slots with 2 merchant wagons. Guess how much slots that is? That's 36 slots, people. 36 slots you can add. And with the wrong people, with the wrong mindset, you won't really be able to utilize this. But you have to be a very organized person to get the most out of this. So let's check out Altanova and see their horse ranches. Horse ranch. Okay, so we have one horse ranch in Altanova. I'm sorry guys, I haven't explored Valencia yet, so yeah, I can't really check that out. But I'm pretty sure they have a horse ranch. It's a pretty big city, so one to assume Valencia counts as well. But it's not much commerce going on in Valencia via workers and stuff like that, so I'm not sure what goes on there. So I might do a video later talking about that. So anyway, the Altanova horse ranch as well gives you 4 slots for 5 contributions. Still a pretty good deal, okay? And if you have to unlock prior houses to reach this house, you can all use those houses into more additional storage as well. But my point is, you get 64 slots in stable slots using the merchant wagon technique. Okay? Now here's a way to make your storage more efficient. Mine is a little bit of a mess right now, but this is actually a perfect chance to show you how to utilize your storage space to the max. Okay? First things first, your storage space should actually only obtain items that you get through workers. Okay, so like stuff like this, stuff like that, these can be held on the character that you want to grind on. You gotta keep your mind as proficient as possible, so you don't have a bunch of junk items like I do here. But this is a good example. I used to have it organized, but it became a really big mess because I'm trying to reformat my hideout warehouses to match what other servers on my other accounts have, because we're gonna have a server merge. So anyway, ignore that tangent. Anyway, what you want to do to maximize storage efficiency is to make sure everything in your storage is something you get passively. Okay, so all these things I pretty much get passively, or like I have workers who get zinc, tin, copper, all these things. These are things you get passively from your workers and stuff like that. Alright, so if that's the case, you want to keep that in your warehouse, because you don't want to keep withdrawing every time your workers complete a cycle. But anything that isn't work related, you can label for a wagon. So let me give you guys an example. Let's say you have a Grunnel shop. Okay, if you own a Grunnel shop in say the city of Heidel, you will want to dedicate maybe 1 or 2 wagons labeled Grunnel equipment instead of letting that stack up in your storage. Or let's say you have a costume shop and you let the costumes take up 20-30 slots in your warehouse for no reason. Those are the type of things you will want to put in your wagons in your stable, and this will save you tons of space and tons of headache. There are harder things to do. Let's say these things like broken down fabrics. I'm going to make a wagon for these eventually, but like things that you process and gets broken down into, like, higher refined materials that your workers don't bring in passively, should have its own dedicated wagons. Let's say fabrics and melted shards. You name the wagon fabrics and melted shards, or melted heated stuff. I don't know. You decide. But you take down the broken down processed things that you won't be getting passively and make a wagon for that too. And that's how you also will save space and maintain efficiency. So let me show you what it looks like. Okay, so I'm gonna go to my storage and show you guys what it looks like. And if you're willing to, and there's items that you don't use often, you don't really need to like take out of your warehouse or do anything with often, you can use stables across the map to use those really rare blue moon resources that you really need, but you have there taking up space for no reason. Alright, so let me give you an example. Where's my mounts? Let's go to my mounts. I'm gonna just remote collect my mount for now. Okay, so this wagon I have is labeled horseshoes. Just so you know, guys, horseshoes are actually really good for fail stacking. And actually, I'll talk about that more in another video. But this is a good example. This wagon labeled horseshoes. Well, I ran out of ones that was holding my utensils. But this wagon labeled horseshoes keeps all my horseshoes in one place. I have a horse gear shop, and I stack horseshoes, so I have them to repair the horseshoes I'm enchanting for fail stacks. And this helps keep my warehouse free of all that clutter. Another example too, I have one labeled alchemy, or anything I get that can be used for alchemy that I know my workers aren't getting passively. This is stuff I get from like farming or whatever. Like I have one character who collects troll blood once a week, and he sends his blood here. I get these fruits I get from farming, elixirs, blood, dry main grass is for experience elixirs. All these things are alchemy related, and instead of having all these different types of fruit take up space, I dedicated a wagon to it. And this is hopefully you guys are getting the idea of what I'm trying to say here, and how to make your warehouses and your contribution points go a lot further. I mean, if you guys can buy slots, by all means, if it's not too much of a financial strain, do that as well, but do not replace one with the other. I think you should maximize storage efficiency as soon as you get to the 200 contribution mark, and you start having at least more than like 15 workers. Okay, so let's look at the cash shop, guys. So in the cash shop, you also have a function of buying what was it, horse gear slots. Okay, so on top of the 4 slots you get for the horse slots you get from contribution points and horse ranches, you have these 300 pearl stable expansions, and you can use up to, I believe, extension 1 account. You got 10 purchases available per account, but I don't believe you can buy 10 for one stable. If you can, then someone please correct me. I don't have the money as you can see with my measly 130 pearls. I don't have the money to test this. So if the description is correct, guys, and please comment if I'm wrong, I believe you can buy up to 10 per account, meaning that you can expand your stables by 10 for every major city in Belenos, and Serendia, and Calpheon, and so on, Medea, Valencia. You get the gist of what I'm trying to say. So if that's the case, you can have a crap ton of stable slots, and that means a crap ton of wagons, and a crap ton of slot spaces. Now, if you're new to this game and you're thinking about buying storage spaces, make sure you buy this first, because you get a lot more bang for your buck if you buy the horse slot expansion things before you buy these. So let's say you buy an 8 slots. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Purchase. Alright, so let's say permanently buy 1 slot. There we go. So okay, here we go. So 8 slots for every city. Okay, 8 storage slots for every city. A total of, let's say if it's Calpheon, so you have 3 cities affected by this. Okay, 8 slots for every city. That's 8, 16, 24 slots. That's still not really worth it compared to buying the horse stable coupon. So if you have the silver in-game to buy the merchant wagons, that will take you a lot further first when it comes to storage gain per pearl spent than these storage chests. So the actual stable expansion slots, where you get 1 stable for 2 or 3 cities, which gives you 2 wagons, which is 36 slots no matter what. At least 2 cities, that's 36 slots of wagon space, and 10 purchases available per family of each thing. That is a lot more space and a lot more bang for your buck, guys. And don't get me wrong, once you're done, if you're a billionaire, I'm exaggerating obviously, but if you have the money in real life to spend and max out your warehouses as well as your stables, then yeah, storage won't be an issue for you if you utilize the wagon system properly. Now let's talk about things that you don't use often. Like, I don't use diamonds, and I don't use gems hardly at all. Okay, so things like that, you can put them in wagons and use stables that you hardly ever go to. Like right here, Eastern Gateway, they have a stable slot. You can set up a wagon right here and put 3 merchant wagons in these places filled with stuff that you hardly ever use. What's a good example? Well, for me, diamonds and stuff like that is the best example. But you guys will all have your own issues with junk, so you guys will know what you hardly ever like use. Like I should put these like fishing steel hose, because I overstocked it by accident and put them in a wagon and store them in one of those gateway places, and just come back to it in the rare occasion that I might actually need it. But there's a bunch of these gateway places where you can put wagons, and you can open up the stable, check the stable. There's no ride at the stable, blah blah blah. But you can open up a bunch of these gateway places and see for yourself how many slots you have available in the game. And honestly, even if you don't spend any money, just using those gates and putting merchant wagons in those gates, you already have a crap ton of space. As long as you're willing to do the travel time and your memory is good enough to know what's where, so you don't get them confused. So alts is also going to become an important play in this, and I'll probably continue that in the next video. But if this helped you realize some ways to increase your storage efficiency, please consider subscribing. It's been Mikers. Also, if you guys are new to the channel, please check out the Rise of the Ninja series I'm doing with my friends. If you guys like that, please give some feedback. I'm also looking for ideas to share with you guys as I get better as a ninja. But also, I also have many characters. So as you can see, I'm an altor, and that'll be the end of this video.
It's just me and my niggas, liquor and a couple bad girls, living in this fucking mad world, with no fear for the tears. It's severe niggas here, they revere when I'm coming back. Sweatshirt, yes sir, this is life and it gets worse, but you always come back from the depths, Garrett. And if somebody